you to my colleague, Diego. Diego, could you please do a presentation about yourself?
Hello, my name is Diego Munoz. I'm also an intern for Generation Connect, and it's very nice meeting you all.
Thank you, Diego. So today's side event will begin with a welcome address from Mr. Jaroslaw Ponder, who is our Regional Director of the ITU Euro Office. And then we'll have a brief polling session. Please feel free to participate also through the chat. Following the polling session, we'll have 3 intergenerational dialogues in the form of mini interviews with 5 decision makers who will share their interesting and unique points of view with us. Finally, my colleague Diego will do a closing address and invite you to register for Generation Connect Global Youth Summit 2022. Now, let's start with the welcome remarks from Mr. Jaroslaw Ponder. Welcome.
Thank you very much. And on behalf of the ITU, it's my great pleasure to welcome you all at this Generation Connect side event of the ECOSOC. This is an important milestone towards meaningful engagement of the youth in the policy making at the UN level. The fact that we are all of us at this meeting confirms that we are all passionate of the development agenda that by 2030 should provide significant progress in achieving 17 digital sustainable development goals. So this cannot happen without the voice and, more importantly, action of the youth, as we all know, being the digital natives, being well positioned to co-create digital future. As we all know as well, there is no ICT goal, as the ICT is not a challenge for the world, but a unique opportunity to accelerate achievement of each of the SDGs. But all this can only be done if we are acting together. This is the reason why we are so much pleased to welcome all of you at this special event. We need to act together in order to address several challenges. For those who are still to be included in the digital community, there are several challenges which prevent several young people from being part of the digital community. Connectivity, skills, security being only some of them. As we know, in 2021, still 2.9 billion people remained offline, and 96% of them were living in the developing countries. Of course, the COVID pandemics shown us that such a happenings, such a hazards help us to catch up, and the numbers of the internet users only in 2020 grew by the 10%. This is amazing achievement, and a lot of new users join us in order to make progress all together. But also the gaps exist among the young people. The good news is that at the global level in 2020, 71% of the world's youth were using the internet, comparing to 57% of other groups. These numbers were very much different. In Africa, only 40% of the African youth were able to benefit from the internet. This is not right, and this is something what we have to change. This is the reason why, for all of us, it should be top priority to support each other and to act together. I'm privileged to come from Europe, where 97% of youth are using the internet. But only this feeling that in the other parts of the world is not the case, it makes us think and makes us also act. This action is also translated by the strong engagement by the regional groups. Each region at the ITU level has been created and brought together the youth envoys in order to think what are the top priorities for each region. Also, this happened in Europe. We have almost 45 young ambassadors acting together on the future, how to shape it and how to co-create it with the adults. This is the reason why the intergeneration dialogues like this one today is so of great importance for all of us. we need to know what we want to achieve, and we need to be convergent. We need to respect each other and involve each other. And this is the reason why ITU already 2 years ago agreed with the all member states on the ITU strategy for youth. Generation Connect is the product, the initiative which unites all youth together and to be engaged, to participate, to be empowered, and to act together. And I hope that just in 50 days, at the Generation Connect Global Youth Summit in Kigali, we'll be able again to get together and to shape the plan of action which will influence the decision makers at the WTDC. If you will not be able to join us in person, don't miss this opportunity. Each engagement counts, also yours, when you will be joining us through the national hubs. Take initiatives in your hands. Don't complain, but be part of the change and join us. Of course, all this, what we will collect, will be also watched by the policymakers who will be designing the 4 years of the implementation of the ITU and also of the digital coalition, which under the brand of the Partner to Connect will get together to connect, to pledge, to make the real change. Within the spectrum of the change, youth should not be missing. And this is the reason why we are calling upon all the friends of the youths. Join us, support youth engagement, and be with us in order to make sure the digital future belongs to the digital youth ambassadors. Thank you very much for this, and I'm looking forward passionately to your great discussions today. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ponder. Next up, we will continue with the polls. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to do them in the chat. The first question is, how many hours do you use internet in a day? Please write them in the chat.
Okay, so we see that the majority of people have chosen 4 to 6 hours or 7 to 9 hours, and they are actually a lot. So let's move on to the next question. So what is the percentage of the world's population that was regularly using the internet in 2021? I see very different results. A lot of people have chosen 63%, which is the right answer. And actually, this represents an increase of almost 17% since 2019, with almost 800 million people estimated to have come online during that period. And among the 2.9 billion people offline, 96% live in developing countries, and these numbers are really impressive.
The next question is, what is the percentage of internet users among young people? As I saw, most people chose the 71%, which is the right answer. This is a very important fact since young people are using a lot of internet, and this is very important for digitalization. This is also a very important thing for this intergenerational meeting, since we will talk with 5 decision makers, which will then see the perspective of young people and talk to us about different topics, which will then help to create a better future for us. Next, thank you.
Thank you, Diego, for the introduction to our intergenerational dialogues. So our first mini interview will focus on quality education, so SDG4. And the guest for this dialogue will be Ali Altoblani, who is a young leader and also a Generation Connect Arab States Youth Envoy. Welcome, Ali, to today's ECOSOC Youth Forum side event.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the introduction.
Hi, Ali. So my first question will be, what does education mean to you?
Okay, that's a very good question. So for me, education is an opportunity. It helps us develop our understanding of the world and teaches us how to be independent. But for me specifically, education was a way to connect with the world, as through it, I made friends, I met educators, and got further opportunities to engage and participate, which connected me to many brilliant minds, where I was able to share knowledge and grow. And that's how I look at it. In simple words, to me, it's the gateway to success, the gateway to people, and the gateway to the rest of the world. It's more than just learning, getting knowledge. It's a way to get connected.
Great answer. And the next question will be, how does technology impact your education?
Right now, I honestly rely completely on technology to get me through my education. Since the pandemic started, it's been quite difficult. But with the introduction of the dual modality, where we're able to take classes online, it has completely transformed the way we learn. And I believe that is now the new normal. I'm a person who self-study a lot. So taking classes online helps me get through my day and helps me carry on my other interests as well. So it is probably the new normal now, studying online. So it has completely transformed education.
And what was the hardest part of the pandemic for you? I mean, has the pandemic changed your goals or your vision for a connected future?
For me, the hardest part of the pandemic was being isolated and away from my loved ones and my friends. I'm a people's person, so it's very hard to kind of be away from them for so long and not meet, not connect, not talk together. We do that online, but it's still different. It doesn't feel the same. So that was probably the hardest part of the pandemic. However, I do believe it did give me time to kind of find myself, get to know myself a bit more. Being alone really does do a lot for you. So it made me realize what defines me, what goals I have, what I want to do with my future. And I do believe that the pandemic not only changed me, but it did change many of us. And it has left an impact that will probably last for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, I completely agree. Thank you very much, Ali, for joining us and for the insightful views that you let us see. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Now, maybe let's move on to the second question, second intergenerational dialogue.
Next up, I'm gonna ask Alexa a couple of questions. I think Valerie unfortunately couldn't join us today. So what is there an equal number of men and women in your path of study and career industry? You're silenced.
Hello, Alexa. We think you're muted.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. We'll to start again then. So I work as Disruptive Technologies Lead at the International Finance Corporation with a focus on gender equality. And that means I work at the intersection of very different fields, so kind of social development, which is very female dominated, but then also technology and finance, which is very male dominated. So the world I'm working in can look very different from one group of conversations to the next, but it certainly does make a difference in how I'm heard and the level of conversations we can participate in. And really seeing all of those sectors come together really makes me hone in on a regular basis exactly how important it is for women and girls to be, the leaders of the industries of the future.
Thank you very much. The next question would be, do you believe that technology can overcome traditional barriers and work towards gender equality?
I do believe it's possible to close the gender digital divide, because this isn't, at the end of the day, a technological challenge. It's a challenge about people. And we know that when women and girls do get access to the internet, to mobile phones, it can boost their incomes and their businesses. So that means technology can go a long way towards closing gender gaps, but we need to start by getting them access to the really fundamental tools of the digital economy, and making sure that they're in the hands of women and girls.
Thank you very much. Just to mention, if you have any questions for the speaker, please write them in the chat. And one last question for Alexa. What do you hope the connected future will look like for the girls of tomorrow?
I hope a connected future looks like a future where we're designing technological solutions and business models for everyone. And for me, that really means three things. First, getting women into the tech sector and other parts of the STEM world that are really likely to burgeon moving forward. But second, funding tech entrepreneurs, particularly women, so that they're in the position to actually create the type of businesses that are going to drive technological change moving forward. And last but not least, we need to start designing services for everyone from the get-go and not think just about adding women in retroactively.
Thank you very much. Well, let's move on to the next mini interview.
Thank you very much. I see there are some questions in the chat. So maybe let's ask to Emilia. There is Umar Adamu who asked, is the meaning of education employment? The meaning of the education, is it for employment? Hello, Emilia.
Hello, Elisa. Thank you for having me here. Sorry, I didn't understand. Do you want me to answer the question from the chat?
Yes, exactly. There is a question from the chat. So maybe can you answer it, please?
I think for me personally, the meaning of education is not only for employment, because first of all, it's for your personal growth, because if you want to be educated, you choose something that you want to study. Of course, there are situations, unfortunately, in which people cannot choose and just have to go with the options that exist. But I think that nowadays, of course, employment is a very important part. But I also think that sometimes even without education, you can be employed because you can do different types of jobs. And in my opinion, education is, first of all, of course, for you. And then what can you do with your education in order to change the world and to make it a better place?
Thank you very much. So there is also a question to Mr. Jaroslaw. Has the ITU done any studies to investigate some of the specific roadblocks impeding internet utilization among African youth? Is it more a skill gap or infrastructure gap? Is Mr. Bonder there?
Yeah, Elisa, I think Mr. Ponder left the meeting.
Okay, so unfortunately, we are not able to answer this question. Maybe let's go back to our third mini interview. Our final intergenerational dialogue will focus on SDG 17 partnerships for the goals, and we'll have Emilia Volkova and Loli Gaitan with us. Emilia is a Generation Connect CIS Youth Envoy, and Loli is our Digital Inclusion Program Officer at ITU. Welcome to both of you. My first question will be addressed to Loli. Hello, Loli.
Hello, hi everyone.
So the question will be, did you feel listened to and valued as a young person?
Yes, thank you so much. I think it was a long time ago when I was young, but yeah, absolutely. I think everything started with the inner circle, with the family, with the friends that you have, and then of course you expand and you are listened. So in my particular case, when I was young, I did have the opportunity and the chance to be heard in different scenarios at my school, my university, as well in some kind of voluntary groups I was part of. However, I can see the difference with today's. I think today the youth has much more scenarios where to be heard, where to be seated at the table. And I think that this is one of the examples that we have to be now here all with you, with the future, the digital natives, as our director of the regional office from Europe, Jaroslav, mentioned it before. So these are opportunities that perhaps a couple of years or even a decade ago were not possible. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much, Loli. I would like to ask the same question to Emilia. Emilia, do you feel listened to and valued as a young person?
Thank you so much, Lisa, for the question. And of course, as a representative of youth, I faced the fact that I wasn't heard and wasn't involved in the decision-making process sometimes. For example, during my studies, I wasn't involved in the educational policy-making process as much as I would like to, because sometimes, unfortunately, youth opinions are not taken seriously. And today, we have the largest generation of youth in history, 1.8 billion people, who are unique future leaders that have different ways of thinking and can bring innovative ideas and drive social progress and want to have a seat at the table. And being one of them today, I'm happy to say that I feel increasingly listened to and valued as a young person, as we have more and more opportunities to contribute to society achieving SDGs and bridging the digital gap by joining youth empowerment organizations, participating in conferences and youth summits, as we are doing it right now here today, working for various companies that have youth programs, creating youth networks and youth-led groups. And I'm delighted to be a part of one of them, ITU Generation Connect CIS Youth Group, that allows young people as me and as all of us here to share their views, identify challenges, and participate as equal partners and eventually to be heard. And in my opinion, we should ensure meaningful participation and empowerment of youth as agents of change even more by building partnerships and creating more networks that support young people by offering opportunities to share effective practice, providing training and undertaking projects. And I truly believe that the meaningful work of young people and youth-led groups is going to take us forward to the implementation of the 2030 agenda successfully.
Thank you very much, Emilia. Let's move on to the next question addressed to you both. How do you see partnerships, specifically intergenerational cooperation in ICTs, contributing to the 2030 agenda? Maybe let's start with Loli.
Thank you. Yes, I will definitely think that partnerships are key. Partnerships are the tool of any program to advance the agenda, in particular for youth, and to accelerate, of course, the access and the use of ICTs. If we come back a little bit on what happened with the COVID, so other UN sister agencies such as UNICEF estimated, for example, that 1.5 billion children and youth around the world have had their digital education and their education, the normal education, interrupted because of the school closures. And we know that even though there are like wealthy countries in where youth and children could connect and could move into the virtual education, there are also many other countries in the world that were digitally disadvantaged. So many kids and many young people were really excluded from learning because of lack of access to digital devices and services. And here, maybe I would like to jump in very quickly on the question that was asked in the chat to say that there is not only one solution. It's like a mix. It's like a formula in where we all need to work together to provide this access to ICTs, but also the skills that specifically young people, they need to navigate the internet and the new technologies and the ICTs. So I think you have heard already that you and the young people are the future of the communities. And with the young people, it comes the innovation, no? So you are the innovators that will drive social progress. And that's why we need to harness the power of digital technologies with the youth, to change the world. And when it comes to discuss partnerships and intergenerational cooperation, again, for me, that's the key to keep sustainable interventions, because we are matching experience and resources with creativity and innovation that comes from youth. So the experience and resources, for example, that comes with traditional organizations that can transfer knowledge and also know-how of what did work in the past and what didn't. We can learn from them. And of course, the creative thinking and the innovation is coming with the new generation, is coming with the young voices that are, again, the native digital citizens. So we should definitely design the platforms and the spaces for this convergence of the experience with the innovation. And I would say that one of the visible case or of platform that is today is very young, but has been very impactful, is the Generation Connect initiative established by ITU, which is the flagship initiative for youth. And the Generation Connect has this visionaries board with different members, different expertise, and from a wide range of organizations, and they promote this exchange, this intergenerational cooperation as well, including the voice of youth as equals partners of the discussions. So I think I will stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Loli. And I would like also to ask the same question to Emilia. What do you think? How do you see partnerships contributing to the 2030 agenda?
Thank you so much, Elisa, for the question. I think that there is no doubt that partnerships play a crucial role in contributing to the 2030 agenda. And of course, the need for the use of information tools, ICTs, and technology is becoming more urgent today than ever to achieve the SDGs. And these goals should contribute to the eradication of poverty and hunger, the provision of education, the empowerment of women, and contribute to addressing climate change. I think that all of us especially felt the need to develop the digital space when we faced the pandemic caused by COVID-19 and were forced to carry out many activities online. And ICTs are already empowering billions of people around the world, but still we have around 2.9 billion people who never used internet and are staying offline. And of course, in order to bridge this digital divide, I think that we all have to build partnerships and networks, as Loli mentioned, some specific, how do you say, projects to networks between governments, private sector, civil society, young people, and many different stakeholders to integrate ICTs into their approaches and different academic communities to move towards a more sustainable path. And I believe that key partnerships have the potential to achieve a more integrated approach to digital transformation. And overall, I think that effective collaboration can boost shared expertise and the generation of innovative ideas, as Loli said, to address many challenges the world is facing today. And you know, many young people are ready to be catalysts of change today and are waiting to be meaningfully engaged to contribute to global discussions about their future and to also participate in the partnerships building process.
Thank you both very much for the interesting and insightful observations and remarks. If you have any further comment or question, please let us know in the chat. Now, maybe let's move on to the closing remarks. Diego?
Sure. Before I do the closing remarks, if any of the questions hasn't been answered because the speaker left or because of any other reasons, we kindly invite you to send an email to Generation Connect, and we will send it to the speaker that you were asking the question. Now to the closing remarks. The intergenerational dialogues are very important, since we just saw the importance of education, the importance of equality, the importance of young people being heard and young people's voices being part of the discussion. This is why we encourage you to take part of the Generation Connect Youth Summit that will take part in June of this year. The registration is open, and it will be written in the chat so that you can register and join us in June. And we hope to see you again. Thank you very much.
Please, if you're interested in this discussion, don't hesitate to register to the Generation Connect Global Youth Summit. I've attached the link in the chat. Thank you very much for joining today, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. If you have any further questions, please let us know in the chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Nada, please kindly stop the live stream, and thank you all so much for attending. If you have any questions once the live stream is ended about Generation Connect that you would like to ask, please feel free to stay back and ask us. But for everyone else, please have a great day and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you to all the speakers and to our amazing moderators, Elisa and Diego. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Amelia. Also stop recording as well, please. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, please, if anyone who's still staying behind has any questions about Generation Connect or getting involved in any way, please feel free to, put your hand up, unmute, type in the chat, because we have the rest of the hour here just in case anyone joins and has any questions. So feel free to ask us if you'd like to. Yes, please go ahead, Henrietta.
Hello. I want to find out for Generation Connect, do you guys have like an activity timetable that we can do you have like a list of activities that we can join or participate in?
Yes, absolutely. So in the link that Melissa shared in the chat, so by the way, my name is Daniela and I work in the Generation Connect team. But yeah, in the link that was shared in the chat, which I can actually share again, is the Generation Connect website. And in the website, when you scroll down, there's a spotlight section that has all our upcoming events, upcoming sort of ways you can get involved. And if you're really interested in kind of immediately joining something cool that's going on right now, we have our call to action process happening. So as was shared earlier, we have the Generation Connect Youth Summit, which is happening in June, and the call to action document is currently being put together. So actually we can just share with you right now in the chat how you can join right now on something called Spark Blue, which is UNDP's kind of co-designing and collaboration platform. I don't know if Elisa can help get the link really quickly. If not, I can just get it. Let me remember the link and share it here.
Yes, sure.
Yes, thank you so much. It's on all the Generation Connect kind of. Actually, that's another thing. You can join our Facebook group, our LinkedIn group, and follow us on Instagram. Literally, whenever anything comes up, we are sharing it like almost immediately in these groups. So if you are on any of the social media, please join us and continue to follow. And also, as was shared, we have, yes, so if you join that Spark Blue link right now, you can actually join the conversation immediately and make your voice heard and everything going on in digital development that we're working on for young people. And so I just shared the Facebook group link, but I'll share the links to all our social media in a moment. So anyone interested can just immediately join these groups and just be in touch with us in that way. But if you have any other specific ideas or any other ways you would like to get involved, then let us know. And as Elisa was saying, you can register right now for our youth summit that will be happening in June. It's going to be hybrid, so of course you can join remotely as well. Let me get the Instagram link as well, and then hopefully you can see in the chat. Henrietta, does that answer your question? Or is there anything else more specific?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Thank you very much. And also, I want to find out if we can connect on LinkedIn, if you don't mind.
Yes, of course. So that's the LinkedIn group I just shared for Generation Connect. When you join the group, you can see like a few of the admin. So I and my colleague Federica, who's also here, we post on the group a lot. So you can feel free to add us and ask us any more questions or ask directly in the group. Thank you, Henrietta. Anyone else have any other questions? Or any comments? Yes, and just to confirm, I can't remember who asked the question. Or I think the person's gone. Prince Kate Takrama, sorry, we were not able to take your question, but if you just let us have your email address, we'll make sure that who you were asking the question to answers it, and we'll send you the answers. Okay. All right. Any other questions from anyone or any comments about the session or anything else? Okay. If not, then perhaps we can close the session and give everyone some time back. Again, thank you so much for joining. Alfred, I see you unmuted. Do you have any comments or any questions? Okay, we'll take that as a no. And maybe we can, maybe we can just call it a day. And if Nada, you can please end the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will end the meeting now.
All right, thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much.